Hello participants. In this session we are going to discuss about economics of artificial intelligence. So while we talk about AI as a concept, we slowly realize that AI is slowly creeping into everyone's life and there is a lot of implementation that is happening around. So is the economics contributing to it? When I say economics, what do I mean by that? The two popular terms related to economics, that is demand and supply. We are going to talk about the demand and the supply of AI in this particular session and how it is triggering and playing a role in the market today for more AI adoptions. So, what will make AI technologies so cheap in the coming days? Because one thing, if you have noticed, AI was considered to be very expensive 5 to 7 years back. All these predictive analytics used to be very, very costly for a company to implement. But today it has come down drastically. We can see in the market that the cost of implementation is at least 50% now. So, what is actually making these AI technologies so cheap? That is about prediction. Cheaper prediction means more predictions, isn't it? When the cost of prediction comes down, more people will start adopting prediction missions to solve their problems. And when the cost of something falls, we do more of it, and the same thing gets applied for prediction too. So, prediction is being used for the traditional tasks like inventory management or demand forecasting. Where till now we have been using the complex models of if else logic, the old traditional programming, to solve these problems. And with prediction becoming cheaper, we want to try machine learning for solving these problems. Most significantly, because it is becoming cheaper, it is being used for problems that were not traditionally prediction problems. So the consequences of cheap prediction is going to create a lot of fuss in the market. Because as we discussed in the previous session, the very fundamental input, the foundational input for our decision making is prediction. Predictions are everywhere, and our businesses and our personal lives are riddled with predictions. And often these predictions are acting as inputs to the decision making. So, better prediction means better information, which means better decision making, isn't it? So, all the algorithmic problems are becoming the transformational prediction problems today because of this cheaper prediction. So, people are ready to explore and try it out and see whether AI can help them to solve the problem. Thereby, the total cost of implementation is coming down again. It is a cycle, isn't it? When predictions become cheaper, more people adopt predictions. When more people adopt predictions, it becomes much cheaper. Isn't that's what we study in economics, isn't it? And we should also look at substitutes and complements when we speak about prediction. So when the price of the prediction drops, the value of its substitutes will also go down, and the value of the complements will actually go up. And what do you think is the main substitute for machine prediction? It is human prediction. So data is an important complement, important supplement to prediction. So as the cost of the prediction falls, the value of a company's data goes up because the data is the new oil. So the cost of the data, storage, and everything is going to go up because the company's data is an asset now. So what was available very freely in the market, now it is going to be restricted with predictions becoming much cheaper. The other complements to prediction, if you look at it, human judgment is an example of a complement. So we use both prediction and judgment to make decisions, isn't it? As the value of the human prediction falls, the value of the human judgment goes up because AI doesn't do judgment. It only does the prediction, isn't it? So prediction is nothing but the insight to the decision making, and judgment is whether to act or not based on that insight. So it can only make predictions and then hand them off to a human to use his or her judgment to determine what to do with those predictions. So the power of the judgment goes up while the predictions become cheaper. This should be an important takeaway from this slide. So I'll repeat it again. As the machine predictions become cheaper, the human judgment, the power of it goes up, the value of it goes up. So critically, when an input such as prediction becomes cheap, this can enhance the value of other things. That's what we call it as a complements. So for autonomous vehicles, a drop in the cost of prediction increases the value of the sensors to capture data on the vehicle's surroundings. This is usually the side effect in the economics world. For example, in 2017, Intel paid more than $15 billion for the Israeli startup Mobileye, primarily for its data collection technology that allows vehicles to effectively use objects, see objects like stop signs, people, etc., and marking lanes or roads, because at the end of the day, if it has to go on the road and turn its steering and everything correctly, it has to mark lanes and roads, isn't it? So data collection, the value of the sensors, it becomes expensive. So now let's look at what is judgment. The prediction facilitates decisions by reducing uncertainty, while judgment assigns a value to it. So if I have to look at it in economist parlance, judgment is a skill used to determine a payoff, that is utility, reward or profit. So you're just giving a value to the prediction that you're doing, and you're giving a cost associated with it, the value, cost, money associated with it. The most significant implication of prediction machine is that they increase the value of the judgment, as we discussed earlier. And prediction is not a decision. Making a decision requires applying judgment to a prediction and then acting on it. So the prediction machine stops with providing that prediction input. Then a human judgment comes in to take a call based on that input, and then the action happens. So judgment involves determining the relative payoff associated with each possible outcome, including those associated with the correct decisions as well as those associated with the mistakes. So when there is a cost, when there is a payoff associated, you should consider both judgments, right? That is a judgment which is going correctly, judgment which may go wrong. For the correct decision, what is the cost that you're paying? For the mistake, what is the cost you're paying? That is where the payoff comes into picture. So from the machine learning point of view, you should understand the anatomy of a task. How is the task performed? So from the input, you're actually doing a prediction. So that is coming actually from the training data. So the more you train, the better the prediction is. And then you apply human judgment on top of it. And then you take an action based on the human judgment on the prediction that is captured. And from the action, there is a decision, that is final outcome that comes out. And that outcome, if it is too deviant from the expected output, that is the error value is very high, means it goes as a feedback very clearly that okay, whether the judgment or the action is right or wrong. Based on that, the accuracy goes down or goes up. If the outcomes are perfect, thereby minimizing the error, means the accuracy goes up. If the outcome is not meeting the expected value, then the accuracy goes down. This is the anatomy of a task you should keep in mind. Again, I repeat, input comes in with the help of the training. You predict some input values, the insights from the data, and you apply judgment on top of the insights to get an action which leads us to an outcome. And the outcome, if it is deviant from the expectation, it results in feedback. So the data and the artificial intelligence, you should understand the relationship between the two. Till now, we have been telling very clearly that if you don't have the right data in the machine learning process, you would get wrong results. So prediction machines rely on data. The more and better data leads to better predictions. That is something we have learned so far, no doubt about it. But looking at it from the economic point of view, so data is a key complement to prediction. It becomes more valuable as the prediction becomes cheaper. The more the machines become cheaper, the higher the cost of the data associated with it to improve the accuracy of the model. The current generation of the AI technology is called as the machine learning for a reason, because you use input data, training data, and the feedback data, isn't it? So with better prediction, doctors can deliver better treatment. But without personal data, a machine cannot predict the risk for that particular person. Okay, this is where, this is the example from the healthcare point of view. So finding the bed for a patient, let's say. So if you only have the data of the patient, you will be able to judge what is the risk associated with that patient, whether to allocate a bed in the ICU or not. If you have better prediction, doctors can deliver better treatment there. So with AI, data plays three different roles. The first is the input data. As you are aware, this is nothing but the data that is coming from the past, or the data that you're showing in the current one, which is being fed as an input to check the algorithm, and then it comes out as an outcome, which is the prediction. The second one is the training data, which is the past data. This data is actually used to generate the algorithm in the first place. And training data is used to train the AI to become good enough to predict in the wild. Finally, there is feedback data. The data which is used to improve the algorithm's performance with experience. In some situations, considerable overlap exists such that the same data plays all the three roles. I'm sure from the supervised machine learning approach, you would have understood this concept by now. That is, there is input data which is used to test the model for the current data. There is a training data which actually helps you to build the model. And then finally, you have the feedback data which is actually helping you to improve the performance of the model. The moment the feedback comes in, it gets added to the training data. The moment the input data comes in, that gets added to the training data once it becomes history. That's why we say that the data, sometimes some data can play the role of all the three data points that we are defining here. The same data actually, not some data, same data can be used. Feedback data is something which is very, very important. We have not discussed this much in the previous session, so it's important for us to discuss it here. AI-based healthcare products, let's say, we'll take an example and discuss this. AI-based healthcare products continue to improve their prediction accuracy even after they launch, just like any other machine learning application. The prediction machines need feedback data on whether its predictions are correct or not. Like for example, in the case of real world evidence, which is a very popular use case in the pharma industry for prediction analytics, even after the product is launched, even after the prediction model is deployed, you keep on adding the data to it, the real-time data that flows in for prediction. You keep on adding that to the historical data, thereby your accuracy of the model goes up over a period of time. So it needs data on the incidence of irregular heart rhythms among the product's users. The machine combines this data with the input data on the cardio monitoring to generate feedback that continuously improves prediction accuracy. So this is just from the healthcare point of view, how the feedback data is used and how it helps you to improve the accuracy. Many commercial AI applications have similar structure. They use a combination of input data and the outcome measures to create the prediction missions. This is what is called as the training the model with the help of the historical data. They use input data from a new situation to predict the outcome of the situation, correct? That is how we do it for the current data. So if you can obtain data on the outcomes, then your prediction machine can learn continually through the feedback. That is, whatever the prediction that has happened and what is the expected output, that will actually help you to keep improving the accuracy of the model over a period of time. And that is exactly what is called as the feedback data. So with this, I hope you understand the cheaper predictions are going to improve the number of predictions that are happening today. The kind of adoption of AI in the market is going to go up, and all the economic factors are actually playing a role. The substitutes and the complements, what is the impact of it because of this trend change we recognized in this particular chapter. I hope you have learned something new in this session. We will meet again in the next session. Thank you.